Welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. We are in Vordakai's tomb, and I expect we will be heading into the end boss very soon, but this tomb might still have surprises for us, so something for us to walk in here. Soul Eaters become more dangerous if they know their victim's name, yes. Cephal. Interesting.
Inimosi travisi. Inimosi travisi.
How about you cast a fireball on these guys? I did know that we were going to meet him at some point. I think he betrayed Maegar. Which of course is fully to be expected by someone who is evil. Staff of the Whispering Souls, Headband of Vast Intelligence +2, Amulet of Natural Armor +2, and Ring of Protection +2. What was that first thing? Staff of the Whispering Souls trapped in this +2 quarterstaff. Grant the wielder +4 profane bonus to intelligence. Ah. Well, we don't need that. That's going to be sold. Locked, okay. Dog is having some issues getting into position. Sorry, I just had to sneeze quickly. Kind of bizarre maze. Whoever built this place certainly built it very inconveniently. Ow. Okay. Another with these treasure rooms. Wand of Slow. Ah, crap. Can I? Cloak of the Winter Wolf. Not that anyone in my party's going to do bite attacks very often. Fools, there is no way out of here. Well, if you say so. It's a zombie dinner. The table surface is covered with blood bits of brain and bone splinters. What a surprise. Well, that takes care of the zombie dinner. Wow. So many items. That's just half of the group. Maybe it isn't, since the party is spread out. Well, that's something at least. I suspect that opened the door somewhere over here. Nope. I'm not going to do level up right now. This stone panel depicts the imprisonment and burial of Vordakai, performed by 3 Cyclopes who hold lanterns in their hands. Okay, let's go down here and have a look down there first, as this seems to be the edge of the map. Collapsed Passage, Athletics 32. Nope, we cannot do that. I thought something was off with the party composition. An elder water elemental? Ancient water elemental. How about you? Don't you have the cleanse spell? Okay, that appears to be it for this room. This pool smells strongly of sulfur. Vordakai. In the dim light, unable to disperse deep shadows in the corners of the dark hall, you see a tall, angular figure. It is a giant with parchment-thin skin, clad in ancient clothes. Yet he pays you no notice. He is studying a glowing vessel cradled in his hands. He almost looks like the defect from Slay the Spire.
He is here, Master. He came, O great Vordakai.
The giant turns to you, and your attention is immediately drawn to the single eye in the center of its dried and dead face. Or rather, an iridescent ball of dark shades, shimmering within the Cyclops' empty eye socket like abyssal fire. In the center of the sphere is a spark of ominous red that seems to cut into you.
An interruption? So, what disturbs my meditations?
The creature's voice echoes as though speaking across several chambers at once, or perhaps through many different selves. As the reverberations cease, the dead figure answers his own question, and the answer sounds like a death sentence.
I was pondering what to do with this pathetic creature, Maegar Varn. This fool dared to claim the lands that belong to me. Can you see his soul? This emptiness of this vessel is all he rules now. The same fate awaits you. I kept Maegar's body because I thought he might prove a servant. But no, your corpse kneeling before me will be of more use.
I came to cleanse your evil from these lands.
The real evil comes from lesser races such as yours. Corpse flies that feed on my ancestral lands. I've already begun purging the empire of your kind, and you will watch as I extinguish each, one by one.
Don't think so. Now what?
Enough, Vordakai. Come face your death. I'm the one who will sentence you.
I thought I told you to go home.
From a relic of a crumbled empire. A relic I steal. Curse you, Vordakai. Blinded by your faded power, I take your sight. Curse you, Vordakai. Thriving in your blind arrogance, I claim your eye. I must take it. Forgive me.
What? Give me the Oculus now.
No! Don't ask for something I can't give you. The force that compels me calls for me, and I must answer it. I must leave. I pray to Sarenrae that you find it in your heart to forgive me.
Without another word, Tristian steps into the portal and vanishes into its light. Interesting.
My sight! My eye! My gift from the depth of Abaddon! It's gone! Stolen! Thieves! Maggots! Wretched, pathetic creatures! I'll slay you! I'll slay you all! Come, Arcanum! Serve your master one last time!
Once stately, the ancient Cyclops shudders and moans. Foul black liquid runs down the cavities in his face and soaks his tattered clothes. The magical glowing vessel with Maegar's soul strikes the stone floor with a hollow, tolling sound and rolls right to your feet.
After all I've done, after all I've achieved, after all the trials, still I fell, and to what? To a pathetic thing like you.
I'm not so pathetic after all.
Worthless creature, proud in your ignorance. Do you even realize what you've done? You've doomed Vordakai to oblivion and all the power and secrets of the greatest empire ever known.
I think I can live with that.
Alas, Vordakai, this is the fate of every empire and every ruler. Your hubris helped you to persist much longer than you were supposed to. And yet, the time has come for you too, to face oblivion.
Didn't you know, mighty Vordakai, that you should not open up your soul to everybody? The curse that Tristian put upon you struck your very essence, arrogance and lust for power.
You dare pronounce judgment on me? Oh, there is truth in your words. Curses strike harder if you empower them with the piece of the essence of the one being cursed. And I put my very self in my name. The name of a ruler and a vanquisher. The name I was cursed with. I was blind back then. More blind than I am now. And I lost the greatest gift I ever received from my patrons, the demons. Will I have to pay for such negligence?
Which empire are you talking about?
About the one that flourished in this world long before you came. About the one that in its greatness outshined everything ever created by mortals since the beginning of time. About the Empire, whose last remaining son, great Vordakai, was destined to restore. We brought an era of enlightenment and prosperity to this primitive world. We created masterpieces, ones your kind cannot even fathom. I was the one who shaped this thriving empire, and the one who was going to release it from the prison of time. But then you came and shattered any hope of reviving the greatest civilization of this world.
He's kind of right. No, of course, I'm glad we've stopped His Bony Majesty's plans, but just imagine what an invaluable source of historical knowledge we're about to destroy. Perhaps we can somehow secure and contain him for science. For example, in one of these magical jars?
To be lost. Your empire would have been built on blood of countless innocents. That I cannot allow.
What is the blood of mortals in comparison to the greatness of the empire that rises above it? You will never see it.
Tristian took your eye?
You don't even realize what your sidekick stole. The Oculus of Abaddon is not some eye. It's a dark creation, having tremendous power, given to me by the mercy of a horseman of the apocalypse. The Oculus is capable of seeing the unseen, revealing the future to its holder, and dominating over mere mortals. Your pathetic settlement was so close to sharing the fate of Varnhold.
If it was capable of revealing the future, why didn't you foresee this? Tell me now, what have you done to the people of Varnhold?
Vermin, who came to my lands, who raked the land with their plows, pierced it with stakes to build their miserable shacks, desecrated the sacred tombs. First, they tore my lands from me, then broke into my sanctum and stole what was mine. I was enraged when I awakened, but the Oculus of Abaddon gave me the answers I needed. It calmed me, focused me. It was powerful enough to seize control over all who lived in that wretched settlement. They came to me, one by one, to be slaughtered. I fed upon their minds to make sense of this renewed world. The thoughts they held were enough for me to conclude the world is ready for my return. The world needs my return.
No?
You look at me as if I committed some blasphemy. Hardly. They defiled my lands, so I defiled them in turn. Although I didn't want to limit my revenge, Their souls await fate inside the same jars as does the soul of their arrogant leader.
I like this requires evil specific alignment required, because we can probably align ourselves with this guy if we're playing evil and cozy up to him as a buddy. Not body, buddy. Shatter the soul jar and set Maegar Varn free. Your time is at an end, Vordakai. Farewell. Freed from the prison, a soul flies up in a flash of light and rushes towards the lifeless body of Maegar Varn. In the light of the released soul, Vordakai collapses on the floor and falls still. As you watch, cracks begin to worm through his dried body and his bones begin to crumble. Powerful enchantments that held his life within its shell lose their battle with time. In moments, Vordakai is dust. Headband of Mental Perfection +4. Hello. Amulet of Natural Armor +3. Ring of Planar Protection. Hello. And Shroud of Abaddon. Yikes. Wow, that is powerful. Wand of Inflict Critical Wounds. And here's Maegar Varn. What? Where am I? How did I get here? Maegar Varn is in a state of shock. It looks like he needs some time to come to his senses. Okay, let's grab the loot then. Arcane Enforcer. Dueling Sword. Fallen Warrior's Flask, that's probably for the storyteller. The table is piled with ancient books, stone tablets and scrolls. Some are so ancient they look ready to crumble into dust, others appear to be more recent. Our search for an answer to the mystery of Varnhold was coming to an end. After learning of the horrible fate that befell the poor citizens of Varnhold, we headed to the final destination of our trip. A dark chamber hidden behind Vordakai's throne room. As soon as we crossed the threshold, we froze, breathless. The dark hall before us was filled with gleaming, transparent vessels. The shimmering light of the souls imprisoned there dispersed the gloomy darkness of the tomb. Liquid shadows danced and twisted on the stone walls with every move of those bright little sparks as they beat against the interiors of their elegant, translucent prisons. And what did the Baron do when he saw the cruel fate of Varnhold's citizens? He immediately began breaking the soul jars to free the imprisoned souls. Upon breaking the first jar, a bright flash of light heralded that the imprisoned soul had regained its freedom. The bright spark flew in an arc over our heads and settled on the floor, and then... well, even my talent as a writer can't do justice to what we saw then. The freed soul was resurrected. In a heartbeat, on the spot where the spark landed, a man clad in dusty peasant's clothes appeared, an expression of utter shock on his face. The poor man was terrified when he came to his senses after that nightmare, only to find himself in the middle of an ancient tomb. It took no effort at all to free the others. With each new crash of shattered glass, new people appeared around us. Guards, fishermen, mothers, the children, farmers, drunkards, grumpy grannies, groaning gossipers. Long story short, all the people who had been abducted by the Oculus of Abaddon had returned. Oh, if only shattering kitchenware always brought such joy and goodness. Alternating between lamenting, crying and yelling for joy, the crowd headed for the tomb's exit. we followed after them, finishing yet another chapter of our heroic chronicle. And that put us all the way back here. Well, I'm gonna pause the game and level up the companions and see if we can perhaps get through this thing down here with a new skill check. So, be right back. Okay, so for Caledorn, we have taken 1 point of charisma. He's quite charismatic, this guy. 1 point of persuasion and 2 points of knowledge arcana and the spell disintegrate. Amiri is next. That wasn't very much at all. 1 point in strength, and then athletics, mobility, perception, and lore nature. Lindsay. So Lindsay gets 1 point of charisma. She gets soothing performance for free. It took the spell See Invisibility Communal. And 1 point in athletics, mobility, stealth, knowledge, world, and trickery, I think. Athletics, mobility, trickery, stealth, knowledge, world, yes. Then Harim is next. And Harim is, of course, also a short and simple matter. +1 to wisdom, and then lore, religion, and perception. Gibelost. Gibelos gets 1 point in intelligence, and then I took the greater mutagen power. Not that I use the mutagens very often. The spell Cure Critical Wounds, and perception, stealth, trickery, use magic device, and knowledge world. And finally we have Ekon. And Ekon gains camouflage naturally as a ranger level 12. And 1 point to athletics, mobility, perception, stealth, and lore nature, and of course 1 point into dexterity. So that's the level up of the ones we have. Now, I think I would like to... one more of those. Then let's see if we can do something with this place here. No, we cannot. Ah, Lindsay is exhausted. Guess we need to rest then. I will pause so that I can go over Harim's spells. There we go, and then let's put down a little campfire here. In resting.
You're a dwarf. How could Dorak do this to one of his children? I'm sure he will take you back if you accept him in your heart.
I'd rather accept a dozen swords in my heart than that traitor god.
Always so cheery, Harim. Continue. Now, I doubt there is anything of interest here at all. But let's run back here. Okay, so nothing of interest here. Nothing of interest here either. The only place we haven't visited in this level is this way. Plenty of zombies. Willis Gunderson. Wait, mercy! The ghost's voice is faint, as if speaking from far away. Willis Gunderson, right? Do you remember me? Once you sought my help with the island on Candlemere. The figure before you looks vague, indistinct, as if it could dissipate into the air at any moment. But, Baron? Is that you? Flee from this place before it is too late. This dungeon is a trap. A trap. How did you end up here? It's not my fault, it was a mistake. A huge, foolish mistake. I was wandering through the mountains, searching for something that would prove my worth, make others sit up and take notice, a little respect. People always used to talk that there were some ancient ruins in Tors of Levenes, but all I found were pot shards and rubble. So the next morning, I decided to head to Varnhold, and from there to Restov. Then something happened. I can't tell if it was a dream, or It was as if someone had set a compass needle behind my eyes and it was pointing me in another direction. So I went through the darkness and ended up at the outside of this damned tomb. What happened in the tomb? I just wanted to take a look. So I know it was foolish, but I saw this bracelet, entirely of jade, an entire fortune worn on the wrist. I shouldn't have taken it, but I couldn't resist, so I snatched it and fled before some dead thing crawled from the tomb. I returned to Varnhold and gave the bracelet to Maegar. I expected he'd pay me with a good sum of gold. Willis is silent for a moment. But before I could get my reward, it came for us. Ha! That's what you get for sticking your long nose and greedy fingers where they don't belong. This is probably the way I'm going to die too someday. Well, I must go. Farewell. There we go. I'd rather not kill him if I don't have to. Necromancer staff. Well. All of these masterwork items. Spectres. Okay. Expect there's more of them. Oh yes. Hopefully that was the last of them. They're getting slightly tiresome. I will pause the recording here, and if I find more, I will unpause the recording, but we have to walk out of the dungeon, so I will look around to see if there's anything of interest, but the episode is already quite long, and I don't want to restart another episode in this dungeon. So, see you soon. Ah, I found Maegar Varn. He was standing in a room here. Your grace, gods be praised. You're our savior. You rescued us. And not just me, but my people as well. Whatever I can do to show you my gratitude, I... Maegar pauses for a moment as if lost in thought, then grunts. Too bad Cephal didn't live to see this moment. And Gunderson, he wasn't a bad sort, just impulsive. Maegar nods. We will mourn them, mourn all who'd lost their lives because of Vordakai, and then... Barony effects, plus 9 community, 13 loyalty, 5 military, 7 economy, 7 relations, 3 divine, 1 arcane, 4 stability, 1 culture. Maegar turns to you at attention. Your grace, by the debt of blood, Varnhold and I now serve you. The cowards from the north didn't lift a finger to help me when I was in need, so I offer my sword to the one who will. He bows his head. I will head to your castle and wait for you there. A deputy will rule in Varnhold, and I will appoint someone trustworthy. Do not worry about that. Yay! Now the final question is that door in here. Wherever it was, it's up here. I will pause and try to see if I can find a solution for that. And I did find it. It's in this labyrinth thing. And it's there. Together with a loot item thing. Okay, let's head on up there. And yes, I do know that I have negative levels, but I don't think it's a major issue at this point. I'll just pause until they're there. Okay, so here we are. No idea where this is going. There's probably loot to be had, which is of course important. I also noticed something interesting when I tried to cast Greater Restoration. It actually requires me to have diamond dust. Not Greater Restoration, but Restoration. Wasn't there? Yes, there was. Another long episode, but plate +3. That is something that I should mention. For the ones of you who are actually following this series all this way, like I think this is episode 72 or 73, I'm not even sure myself. Thank you. this appears to be the room below the room with the thing that we found. The walls are covered with images of, yeah, I think we saw war, pestilence, famine, and other horrors. Featured prominently in every picture is the image of a horseman. An image on the stone panel depicts a cyclops who tore out his eye and threw it on the ground. There's a ball of light in his hand, and he looks like he intends to put it into his empty eye socket. So that would be Vordakai. I wonder if we have to go back here, whatever happened to Tristian? Because I'm pretty sure that the Abaddon thing has to go, or the Oculus has to go into the thing upstairs. Golem. Those things did more damage on me than Vordakai did. The Royal Gift. Very, very expensive keen dueling sword. That's going to bring us quite a bit of money. Blade Guard. +3 buckler. Okay, so I think that's about it for this level. I don't think we got, since Tristian ran off with the Oculus, I don't think there's much we can do, so I guess we'll leave the tomb, but I'll also end the episode here. So, yeah. I don't know where this is going to end, but I will not leave the tomb until the beginning of the next episode. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you all in the next one.